Bugman here. We are going to talk about burglar bars. No, we're not. We are going to talk somewhat about that. Why do people put burglar bars up? Well, it's simple, because they want to keep out the bad guys. Uh, you know, just that simple. And pest control is the same way. If we could put burglar bars up to keep the bugs out, would we do it? Eliminate the need for the quarterly pest control spray from the bug guy, come in and dump neurotoxins all over your house? Yes, there's a definite need for that. You put burglar bars up, it's quite an expense, but it keeps bad guys out. They'll go to another house or whatever, excluding the bad guys is part of it. And that's what the bars represent, exclusion. So we're going to talk about exclusion on bugs. Exclusion is the best way to keep bugs out. Just like these people here put burglar bars up to keep out the bad guys. You can put up things like this. It's called exclusion in my world, the bug world. Because in Texas, we have a thing, the TDA governs how we apply chemicals to the public areas. Your house is a different story. You can do whatever you want there. But where people go, where public company, I can't talk, public buildings, there are rules and laws that govern what we do. And it's called integrated pest management. And what that boils down to, it means the least amount of chemical you can use to keep out the bugs. And that's what we do, because we practice it in schools. IPM, integrated pest management in schools, is what we do a lot, because we do school districts, a lot of school buildings. So we practice that daily with our company. And you can actually do the same thing in your house, least amount of chemical use. In our website, thegreenbugman.com, we have some kits, and they involve things like this. The exclusion means sealing up the entry points. I've got some notes here, so I look away. I'm trying to hold my notes, keep me on track here. You've got entry points, how the bugs get in your house. We're going to talk about two types of houses. Today, we're going to talk about this house, which is a brick house. Brick houses have a unique set of entry points. You look around your foundation where the brick meets the slab, there are gaps in the brick. You wonder what those are. Those are called weep holes. And their purpose is to let your house breathe, let some air in, because if you just sealed those up, your house, in our Texas climate, humidity, you have all types of moisture issues. You have mold growing, all kinds of things. So those holes down there, weep holes, those bug holes, I call them, are actually needed. But there are things you can do. You can put weep hole covers. If you go to our website, we've got covers there we sell, and we haven't installed them. Gotta check my notes here. And many of these things, it's like the burglar bars people put up on their house. It's an expense, but it's a one-time deal. You don't have to, you may have to paint them every now and then. So what we teach in IPM, Integrated Pest Management, is doing things to your house that you do one time that pay benefits for years. You don't need the pest control guy to come out. In a slab house, we just talked about weep holes are your biggest entry point. Why? Because they're low to the ground, they're right at the grass level, and it's a big gap. You'll see as much as 3/8 of an inch in some of those. Most of them are 1/4 inch or more. Oh, there's the odds every time I get on camera. But those weep holes, those brick little holes in the brick, they're right by the grass. Where do the bugs come from? The grass. So they're the closest thing to the ground the bugs have to get in your house. Once they get in a weep hole, where does that take them? Anywhere. Because what's inside the walls? You have pipes and wiring that go all the way around your house for the plugs and all that. And they have holes in the wall where the wire runs. And it's a highway for the bugs to travel. You get them from one room to another. They'll come out the bottom of the sheetrock. They'll come out the wall plugs. once they're inside your walls, there's virtually nothing to hold them back. Uh, but that's why we talk about weep holes. Those little weep hole covers we have are stainless steel. And I know people that have done stuff to their house, and I've seen it personally. They stuff those weep holes with stuff them with stuff. Yes, I said that. And when they do that, they cause rust. I know guys that have used Brillo pads, I seen SOS pads, and not only do they cause a little rust, but there's soap that leaks down, and it causes a stain on your concrete. The covers we use are stainless steel; they will never rust. Uh, there are others out there that are plastic, just don't let the air flow like it should. They're little tiny holes, and they get stopped up so easy from the grass and the debris when you cut your grass. I've seen those in commercial buildings, and I get the willies. They bother me because they block off so much air. But our weep hole covers, stainless steel, not going to rust, not going to create a stain on your concrete, and they're going to keep out the bugs, mice, snakes, the big roaches, American roaches. We did a video on those, and that's the most common place they'll get in. That's through your weep holes. So weep hole covers go a long way with cutting out entry points. Check my notes here. Because remember, bugs are looking for three things: food, nest, and water. What do they find inside your house? Of course, nest site. What are they looking for? Food and water. And different bugs, we'll get into that as we go into that, but doors, windows, spiders. Oh, why? Oh, let's get on camera. The spiders around your doors and windows. There's a great product for that. It's called Web Out. But a lot of times it's just a matter of putting some caulk around those windows to seal up the little gaps at the bottom and stuff. Because when they build your house, builders use usually cheap caulk, and it lasts a few years, and it starts to crack and separate, and you'll see a gap. When that separates, it creates a gap in there, and that's an entry point for the bugs because your windows are fairly low to the ground. Spiders use them all the time to get in the house. But your doors and windows need to be caulked. Your door frames, a lot of times, the wood will be rotted or just will be sealed up good. Again, caulk dries out. When it dries, lets in the bugs. Move on. Oh, AC lines where your air conditioner in Texas, we got to have AC. And where the outside unit is, where the lines come out of that, they go into the house up to the attic. And those lines have to be sealed good. The rodents, a lot of times, will find their way there. And the rodents will, actually, I've seen rodents, they chewed on there's a little piece of wire that comes out. That's your thermostat wire. I've seen rats, mice chew on those, and people's air conditioner quit working because of that. I actually had that in a house we had. AC quit working. Guy came out and he said, "You got a rat trying to get in your house." And sure enough, he showed me where they had chewed on the wires and chewed on the insulation because those pipes where they come out, go in, they're insulated with insulation. And behind that is what? It condensates, it sweats. Bugs, all rats, all rodents, they need water. Your AC condensation is enough water to keep them going. And it's like a water fountain every time it goes off. So those AC lines, when they go in the house, they put insulation around them. And it goes up into the little hole in the side of the brick. And a lot of times those may look like they're sealed good, but if you stick your hand underneath it to the bottom, there's a gap. And there's a plastic or the metal cover that goes over that little dude in my YMCA. Anyway, there's a little metal cover that goes over that, and you got to check it real good. And a lot of people will just take and spray a bunch of foam in there, and usually that does the trick for a while. But the problem is that foam dries out, and about 5 years later, that foam's all brittle, and it's just nothing for a rodent to chew his way right through there. And that's how rodents, most of the common way rodents get in your house is because that AC line where it goes up. And so excluding them means you want to take that metal cover off and check, make sure there's adequate caulking or foam in there. And if there's not, we put a piece of hardware cloth in there, which is like chicken wire, but little tiny 1/4 inch squares. Put that in there and then caulk it up and foam it up. Because that way, if the rat does get up there and does chew through, he's going to hit that metal. And nothing likes metal in your teeth. It's gross. But the AC lines are big, and get that cover removed, put back on nicely, makes a huge difference. Moving on to plumbing penetrations. That's a fancy way to say pipes. Your pipes, plumbing pipes, all sinks. Go, not right now, but go when we're after the video, you watch it. Go look at underneath all your sinks. Now, the builders will put a little cover over that hole, but it's just a cheap cover that hides the bigger hole behind it. Because, I mean, those guys, when they're running pipe through your walls, they cut a bigger hole because it's just simpler that way for them to do it. But they don't go back and seal it up. They put a little plastic cover, and there are a couple types. There's little white plastic ones, or there's look like some chrome ones, but they're just plastic plated chrome. Pull those back off of there, off your wall, and look at the hole that's there. And again, what are bugs looking for? Food, nest, water. Where do they find those pipes? Water. Those pipes condensate in our Texas heat, and they create moisture. Bugs get down there and lick that water off, and it's not enough to stain a grown-ass human like us, but it's plenty of water for a roach or whatever's in your wall. Those plumbing penetrations can be big time. Also, look where your toilet is. Your toilet goes through the line to a toilet, which most of the time goes through the wall in the back. Pull that cover back too. And that's another, again, it's those aren't insulated, and it's pretty common for those to have a big old hole. And they just again slip that plastic cover over it, and just you looking down there as a homeowner and think, oh, it's got a little thing on it, covers the hole. Well, there's a big hole behind what you're looking at. So check those. The dishwasher, and I say washer, yes, I put an R in there. The dishwasher, where the lines underneath your kitchen sink go through there, that's an entry point as well. That little hole there, it's got your water line, even your drain line for your dishwasher. Seal that up with some caulk. That'll be another way, because again, you're looking at that dishwasher, produces heat. It's got insulation. How many times I've come across houses where there'll be a mouse or a rat nest in that dishwasher area, because that's insulation. It's a perfect place to have babies in a nest. The plumbing penetrations are a biggie. Also, your hot water heater, where the lines, depending on where it's mounted, attic, there's a closet for that, where those lines go into your wall to feed your sinks. That should be sealed as well, because again, you're talking about moisture, and bugs need water. Breaker weep holes. Another one is your dryer vent. This is a strange one, but you wouldn't think your dryer vent would be an entry point, but it is. I bet I've had 10, at least once a year, I get somebody saying there's a bird nest in their wall. And I get there, and the first place I'm going to go look is a dryer vent, because those dryer vents have little flaps that go up like this. And when the dryer stops blowing, they close. Birds get down there and just prop those up a little big and go in and build a nest, have babies. And yes, like I said, about once a year, I get a call from somebody who's got birds, they say in their walls, and the first place we check is this dryer vent. Sure enough, there's a mama bird has moved in there. I mean, it's safe. There's no predator can get their babies in there. It's the perfect place for a bird once they figure out how those vents operate. And a lot of times it's just the vents will be open from all the lint, and the bird goes in. And to keep that lint cleaned out, there's wire cages you can put over those to keep the bird from being able to get in there and do that. Next one, your soffit vents. Right at the eave of your house where the roof overhangs, like wall is here, exterior wall, and So that's called the soffit vent. And those are also to let your house breathe. A lot of times you'll see those, and they're just little vents, and the roaches will get in there, unless they're screened on the backside. There's good soffits and there's cheap soffits vents. The good ones have screen on the back to keep anything from trying to get through there. They'll stop them. I've seen rats, possums go in soffit vents. Rodents love those things, but those should be checked. If there's not screen on the back, just replace them. They're not that expensive, and it's much better. We covered sweep holes, doors and windows. Now, another thing on brick homes, a lot of brick homes, especially your longer brick homes, will have a place where there's caulk between the brick. You'll see it's called an expansion joint. And behind that caulk, they put foam, some type of, I don't know what it is, but it's foam, and they caulk over the top of it. A lot of times you'll see that caulk it deteriorates because it's, again, builders use cheap caulk. They buy it by the bulk. So they'll use that cheap caulk, and it just needs to be recaulked, because where does that lead the bugs? Right inside your house, inside the wall. Once they're in the wall, they go anywhere they want. But that's another thing. Check it. If you see a line of caulk on your brick, just check it, make sure it's the caulk's still good. If not, just replace the caulk. That's the easiest way to do that. I think we've covered everything. That's it. Now we got one on this is on a brick house. Another video coming up soon will be on pier and beam houses, because I live in a pier and beam house. And they have a different circumstances to deal with, because the underside of your house is like the grand poobah nest sites for all kinds of critters: coons, possums, rats, snakes. We've had rodents under ours. We've had a skunk under ours. Possums. I came home one day and looked down the driveway. We have a long driveway in our house. And I noticed the trash can lid was up. It's right by the back door. And as I got closer, I saw there was a raccoon holding the lid open. And there was another raccoon inside the can. One was holding the lid open. The other was taking trash and throwing it back out in my driveway. And I looked at him. I said, teamwork. My God, look at these two go. And the closer I got, it was funny because I got closer and closer and closer. And the guy that was holding the lid, he bailed. He wasn't going to stick around. He's like, George, you're on your own. I'm gone. And he jumped down, took off running. Well, then here comes George popping his head up on the can. And he took off and running. But crawl spaces have their own set of circumstances. And that's a whole nother video on that deal. There's a lot of things you can do and need to do on your crawl space as well. All right, that's the video on exclusion. And at the end of this, if you want to tackle this stuff yourself, you can take the video and the notes and go through and do some of that. If you are not that type and you want somebody to come do the work, that's what we're here for. We do pest control on a regular basis on commercial and some houses. But if you want this done, you're exclusion to be done to your house. It's a larger cost than a pest control guy coming out, but it's a one-time thing. And so you come out and you cover these weep holes, you seal your windows, do all that stuff, and you're not going to need a pest control company on a regular basis to come out and spray stuff around your house. These are things that pay dividends long term. Once you seal those, put the weep hole thing in, they're good. They don't come out. That's another reason we don't do plastic ones. Plastic ones get pushed out by the lawnmower, by the weed blower, and by the bugs themselves. These stainless steel ones grab a hole and they don't let go. But we have professionals. They're not pest control people. You don't need a pest control license to do this type of work. It's more like handyman work around the house. But we have guys that do this for us. We can send one of them out and get you an estimate on what it'd be to pest proof your house. Every house is going to be different because part of it is weep holes. I was at a guy's house last week. he had a weep hole. Every brick had a weep hole. I'm like, dude, what is this? Because usually it's every third brick or every second brick or every, builders are all different. His was every other brick, every brick. I mean, it had every brick, and it was kind of crazy. But anyway, we get you an estimate on that, and that way you can do the work, or we can do the work, and it's taken care of. You don't have to worry about the plumbing pipes, the bugs coming in through those, the weep holes, all that stuff. You can get the exclusion work done by us or do it yourself. That's what we're here for. We've got all the products you need online. We don't have caulk online, but you can get that at any of your big box stores or any hardware store. But that goes a long way. So anyway, that is it for today. Tell your friends about this. Share these videos with everybody you can, because they can help. You don't know who they can help. Somebody might be dealing with the same problem you are. But share these videos as much as you can. Let me get this ready to go. All right. Again, thegreenbugman.com, the Green Bugman, however you want to say it. Thegreenbugman.com. You can get all your weep hole covers, all your products, good natural safe products. All right.